One NASCAR legend got banned for life for just trying to help his fellow drivers get better pay. Another rising star threw away his entire career by faking a flat tire on live television. And one driver went from Cup Series winner to convicted felon faster than a pit stop gone wrong. These aren't your typical racing accidents. These are the shocking decisions that got NASCAR's biggest names banned from the sport forever. Number 4. Curtis Turner. Curtis Turner wasn't just any NASCAR driver. This guy was literally there at the beginning, sitting in that historic meeting when NASCAR was born. He was one of the founding fathers of the sport, and Turner could drive. We're talking about a man who won races by leading every lap from pole position twice in a row. He built Charlotte Motor Speedway with his own money, but in 1961, Turner believed NASCAR drivers deserved better. Better pay, better benefits, better treatment from the sport they were risking their lives for every weekend. Turner teamed up with businessman Bruton Smith to organize a drivers' union backed by the Teamsters. Their demands were simple: better prize money, a share of broadcasting rights, and retirement benefits. Sounds reasonable, right? Not to NASCAR founder Bill France Sr. France's response was brutal. He told every NASCAR driver that anyone involved with the union would be banned permanently, not suspended, banned for life. Most drivers backed down immediately, but Curtis Turner stuck to his guns, along with driver Tim Flock. Turner refused to abandon the cause, so Bill France banned both Turner and Flock for life. Think about that. The man who helped create NASCAR, who built Charlotte Motor Speedway, who won 17 Grand National races, banned for life because he wanted drivers to get paid fairly. For 4 years, Curtis Turner was persona non grata in the sport he helped create. The irony? His Charlotte Motor Speedway went bankrupt partly because he couldn't race on his own track. But by 1964, NASCAR was in trouble. Star drivers had died in accidents. Factories were boycotting over engine restrictions. Bill France needed stars, and Turner was still one of the biggest names in racing. In 1965, France quietly lifted Turner's ban. At age 41, Turner returned and immediately won his first race back, the inaugural American 500 at Rockingham. Turner died in a plane crash in 1970, but his legacy lived on. He was eventually inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2016. The man who got banned for trying to help drivers is now remembered as one of NASCAR's greatest pioneers. But if you think Turner's story is shocking, wait until you hear about what happened in 2024, because this time it wasn't about organizing unions. It was about something far more controversial. Number 3. Christopher Bell and Bubba Wallace. The 2024 NASCAR playoffs produced one of the most expensive controversies in recent memory at Martinsville Speedway. Christopher Bell was desperate. He needed to make the championship 4, but with 1 lap to go, he was trapped. That's when he made a decision that would cost multiple teams hundreds of thousands of dollars. Bell found himself behind Bubba Wallace's Toyota. In desperation, Bell passed Wallace and rode the wall through Turn 4, something banned since Ross Chastain's Hail Melon wall ride. For 27 minutes, Bell thought he'd made the championship 4. Then NASCAR dropped the hammer, penalizing him for the illegal wall ride and giving the spot to William Byron instead. But that was just the beginning. NASCAR's investigation revealed systematic race manipulation involving multiple teams. Wallace had mysteriously slowed down, claiming tire problems, but his spotter confirmed all tires were fine. Wallace had faked the problem to help Bell. Meanwhile, Austin Dillon and Ross Chastain formed a rolling roadblock behind Byron, never attempting to pass him. Radio communications revealed coordinated efforts, with crews asking if teams knew the deal. The evidence was overwhelming. NASCAR had recorded Wallace saying, "God forbid if we don't help an effing JGR car." They had data showing deliberate blocking and video of Wallace's suspicious slowdown. The penalties were unprecedented. 3 teams fined $100,000 each. 3 drivers fined an additional $100,000 each. 9 team members suspended for the championship race. Total cost? Over $600,000 in fines, plus reputation damage. 2311 Racing eventually withdrew their appeal, essentially admitting guilt. The scandal proved that even with modern oversight, teams will try to manipulate outcomes, and the consequences are severe. Speaking of severe consequences, our next story involves something even more serious than race manipulation. Because when personal conduct becomes the issue, NASCAR doesn't just hand out fines, they hand out indefinite suspensions. Number 2. Cody Wear. Cody Wear had everything going for him. Third-generation racer, famous last name, driving for his father's team. At 27, he was living the dream. On April 10, 2023, that dream became a nightmare. Wear was arrested and charged with felony assault by strangulation and misdemeanor assault on a female. NASCAR's response was immediate: indefinite suspension. The timing destroyed Wear's career momentum. He was finally getting consistent rides, showing speed, building sponsor relationships. His best finish was 6th at Daytona in 2022. But domestic violence charges changed everything. Sponsors fled. The team scrambled for replacement drivers. 8 months of career limbo followed. Then came unexpected news. All charges were dropped on December 12, 2023. NASCAR reinstated him, but damage was done. Missing most of 2023 meant lost opportunities, broken momentum, and lingering stigma. Wear's 2024 comeback included a career-best 4th at Daytona, proving talent survives legal troubles. But the bigger question remained: how much did the suspension cost in terms of career development? And our final story involves the most controversial ban in modern NASCAR history. A case that's been debated for 14 years with questions NASCAR has never fully answered. Number 1. Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy Mayfield wasn't some back marker. He was a legitimate Cup Series star who'd worked his way up from Kentucky BMX racing to competing with legends. He'd won races, made the first chase for the Cup, and earned respect through pure talent. But on May 9, 2009, Jeremy Mayfield's world exploded in the most public way possible. NASCAR announced that Mayfield had been suspended indefinitely for violating their substance abuse policy. The rumor mill went crazy. People whispered about methamphetamine, about a once promising career spiraling out of control. Most drivers would have quietly accepted the suspension, gone through NASCAR's rehabilitation program, and hoped for a second chance. But Jeremy Mayfield wasn't most drivers. He came out swinging, claiming the positive test was caused by his prescription Adderall combined with over-the-counter Claritin D for allergies. He had pharmacy receipts, doctor's prescriptions, and his entire team backing his story. Here's where things get absolutely wild. Mayfield took NASCAR to federal court. On July 1, 2009, U.S. District Judge Graham Mullen granted Mayfield a temporary injunction, lifting his suspension. The judge said the likelihood of a false positive in this case is quite substantial, and that the harm to Mr. Mayfield significantly outweighs the harm to NASCAR. A federal judge basically said NASCAR got it wrong. For 5 days, it looked like Mayfield might be vindicated. He was free to race again, and it seemed like the truth was finally coming out. Then NASCAR made a move that still seems unbelievable today. They sent officials to Jeremy Mayfield's house to conduct another drug test. Think about that. NASCAR officials showed up at a driver's home to test him in his own driveway. 5 days later, NASCAR announced that this second test was also positive for methamphetamine. Mayfield was suspended again, and this time the appeals court sided with NASCAR. But here's the part that should make your head spin. Mayfield took his own drug test just 40 minutes after NASCAR's home visit. He went to a certified independent laboratory that had no connection to NASCAR whatsoever. The test came back completely clean. So we have two tests taken 40 minutes apart with completely opposite results. Medical experts said it was impossible to go from positive to negative for methamphetamine in less than an hour. The drug's half-life is 12 hours. The most shocking twist came when Mayfield's own stepmother testified that she'd seen him using drugs many times since 1998. But then things got weird. She later trespassed on Jeremy's property, assaulted people, got arrested, and eventually withdrew all her testimony. The legal battles destroyed Mayfield financially. His race team collapsed, sponsors fled, and by 2011 he was facing foreclosure on his 388-acre property. Then law enforcement searched his property and found stolen goods worth $100,000, leading to more criminal charges. But even that story had strange twists. The informant who tipped off police died in a motorcycle crash while fleeing officers. Most charges were eventually dropped, and Mayfield pleaded guilty only to possessing stolen property. Here's what makes this case so controversial. A federal judge said there was substantial likelihood of a false positive. Two tests taken 40 minutes apart showed opposite results. Key witnesses withdrew their testimony. And NASCAR changed their testing procedures and labs after 2009. More than 14 years later, Jeremy Mayfield is still suspended from NASCAR. He's found success in dirt racing, but his Cup Series career is over. The fundamental questions remained unanswered. Why did a federal judge question NASCAR's testing? How did two tests produce opposite results? Why has Mayfield never been allowed to return when other drivers got second chances for serious mistakes? Did NASCAR frame Jeremy Mayfield? I can't prove it, but the evidence raises serious questions about what really happened in 2009. From Turner's union fight to the 2024 Martinsville scandal, from Ware's legal troubles to Mayfield's drug controversy, these stories prove NASCAR careers can end in ways that have nothing to do with racing ability. Which shocking band surprised you most? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Track Reactions, your source for all the stories on and off the track.